Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to Full Count of SportsMemo MLB betting coverage show, coming to you live every weekday, Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be covering baseball with some of the best handicappers, analysts, columnists, and sports bettors on the planet. We're going to be giving out free picks on several games for today's card and plenty of time for you to get down on those free picks. And guys, oh my goodness, we're so excited. We have a great show, but we're even as excited. We are approaching 5,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and I would love it. We would love it if you like the content, and I know you like that content. Subscribe, comment, too. We want to know what you like. We want to know what you don't like. We want to keep giving you what you want and keep coming back every single day with more free content. Sports friends, I am world champion handicapper in Las Vegas' biggest daily sports bettor, Joe D'Amico. Joining me, while we got an all-star panel today, Mr. Jesse Schule and Mr. John Ryan. Welcome, Jesse. Welcome, John. Happy Wednesday to you both.
Thanks for having me, John.
You're looking very, very good today, John Ryan. I see you've got a Dodgers hat on with Fenway in the background. That says a lot, you know.
Oh, it does. It does. It means I'm a sports fan and not a homer.
Oh, I love it. You got to love it. Always entertaining, John Ryan, folks. Jesse Schule looking sharp as always. Guys, we are going to be covering 3 round table games, and Jesse and John are going to be chiming in their takes on those games. Then at the end of the show, our most exciting part of the show, the best bet segment, where Jesse, John, and myself will give you our best bets for today's card. Sports fans, without any further ado, I do want to say, I know it's a baseball show, but we have a limited time for you to get down on this huge discount SportsMemo is offering. All of football, big discount down to $7.99. Use code football100. Also want to tell you folks, if you get it down right away, okay, before the end of the month on July 4th, they're going to be choosing whatever baseball game has the most runs and adding $10 in wager bucks per run. So if a game has got 25 runs, you're getting $250 off it. Just want you to know that this is the perfect time to follow leaderboard fixtures like Jesse, John, myself, and the other great guys over at SportsMemo, building up that bankroll during baseball so you can have a big bankroll come September for football. You can't get on this soon enough, guys, because saving your money is just as good as making money. Without any further ado, let's get right into the first of 3 roundtable games, my friend. Very exciting. You know, you've got a team that is in first place by 5 games in the National League, playing on the road, taking on the Mets, taking on the Brewers, who had a lock on first place for so long, but dropping 9 of their last 10, guys. St. Louis is now taking a 2.5-game lead in the NL Central. Without any further ado, let's go to Mr. Jesse Schule so he can give you his take on Milwaukee at New York.
Well, you mentioned it. Milwaukee now in second place in the Central, and they did lose Game 1 at New York 4-0. But they've got their Cy Young winner going today, Corbin Burns, who is just 3-4 with a 2.48 ERA. His ERA is still pretty strong. His problem is a lack of run support. He is 2-1 with a 1.42 ERA and 6 road starts. But he's facing a Mets team that has hit him in the past. It's a bit of a limited sample size, but over 35 combined at bats, they're hitting 298 against him. The Mets do rank first in the major leagues in scoring, first in the major leagues in team batting average. And on the other side for the Mets, David Peterson, not as sexy of a big-name pitcher as Corbin Burns, but the most important stat is wins, and he's 3-0 with a 3.00 ERA. More importantly, the Mets are 7-1 when he pitches. This guy just gets the job done, and he gets the run support to do it. Milwaukee has lost 9 of their last 10, and they're still a favorite, despite the what looks like perhaps a favorable pitching matchup for Milwaukee. I'm not betting on a team that's lost 9 of their last 10 games as a favorite against the number 1 ranked offense in baseball. I'd have to lean on the Mets here.
Jesse Schule, as entertaining as he is informative, let's lean on the Mets. He says, guys, Peterson is not as sexy as Burns. One thing that is sexy to all of you guys is Jesse Schule's documented record over at SportsMemo. Go check him out after the show. Take advantage of some of those great customer appreciation discounts. Great breakdown, Jesse. A lean on the Mets. Wonderful breakdown as usual. Let's go to John Ryan, one of the best technical guys I've ever worked with, certainly in the history of this business. John's going to have a very entertaining and informative breakdown on this game. John, I would love your take on it, please.
Well, Jesse, you're a good friend and pal, but I'm afraid that we have a pizza bet opportunity here because I do like the Brewers here in this situation. And you mentioned that Mets are the number one, basically most efficient offense in the Major League Baseball. If they're second, they're only second to the Yankees overall. However, Milwaukee, their batting average, those flash stats aren't so nice. They're not sexy like you were talking about that other pitcher. But you know what? They hit home runs, and they hit a ton of them. They ranked third in Major League Baseball, averaging more than 1.25 home runs per game. And I do think that the Brewers with Corbin on the hill, who, Cy Young winner, as you said, the guy is in top form. And there's a betting system here I'm going to mention, too, that supports Milwaukee. And this is all with all due respect, Jesse. No hard feelings when Milwaukee crushes the Mets tonight. But anyway, play on road favorites, money line of minus 125 or more. National League team with, as I said, a below average on base percentage. The Mets are very good at that. Milwaukee is not. Milwaukee's under .350 on base percentage qualifies for this system. And they're facing a team with a solid bullpen, which the Mets have. 1.35 or lower whip on the season. And an on-base percentage of 300 or worse over the last 10 games the Brewers need to be. They certainly are. So we have a progression here with the Brewers with Corbin on the hill, and that's why I really like Milwaukee here in this situation. That betting system has gone 225 and 95 over the last 25 years. That translates to almost 70% winners, folks. I'm on the Brewers.
John Ryan, sports fans, on the Brewers, bringing some drama to our Wednesday show as Jesse had the small lean on the bets. John Ryan said this is pizza money for him. Guys, I've seen him eat pizza. He's a serious guy about pizza. I don't know. He doesn't want to lose his bet. He likes the Brewers. John, always entertaining and informative. Real quick, guys, on a side note, last night, John, I did want to ask you about this real quick. Open headlines of the sports page today in Vegas. Mikolas loses a no-hitter with 2 outs in the ninth. Just I was waiting all morning to speak to you about this, John. I know you watched the game. How do you feel about poor old Miles Mikolas?
How do I feel about what?
Miles Mikolas blowing a no-hitter in the ninth with 2 outs.
Well, the first thing that struck my mind was the center fielder had already made some really good plays in the game, but he seemed to be playing awful shallow against a batter who's just entered into the game. That was his first at bat of the game. That managerial decision makes a lot of sense to me. Had he been playing at a normal position, if the regular guy that was starting, I forget who that was in the batter's box, that center fielder would have been at least 10 paces deeper. It would have been mostly a routine catch, maybe running into the wall, but probably not. So I think that came from the bench. I think that was a managerial decision that they didn't want to give up that little cheap, single blooper into center field, and it cost them. But I don't blame Mikolas in the least. Would have been the first no-hitter Cardinals have had since Michael Wacha pulled off the trick. But what a great start for him. I'm interested to see, more importantly, 129 pitches thrown, I believe it was. That's the most I can remember in many seasons. Saw Josh Beckett throw a no-hitter in Philadelphia live, and he was around 136. And you know what? He wasn't quite the same after that for the remainder of his career, which was at the tail end of the career. This is a little bit different with Mikolas, but I'm interested to see how he responds over the next 4 or 5 starts with that heavy workload. As you guys know, you get to that 100th pitch, even the 90th pitch, and they become laboring intensive pitches. And the arm is, it's going to wear out, and it wears out when it's tired. And at 90 pitches, it's tired. He went all the way to 129. So it'll be interesting to see how he does in the future starts.
John Ryan, always full of content. John, I would love to see you on one of those sports trivia shows. You're amazing. Well, guys, we're through our first round. Jesse's got the Mets, small lean. John Ryan has the Brewers. Let's go to our second game of the round table segment. We're looking at San Diego at Chicago. My friends, right now, which surprised me this morning, Cubs 135, 11.5 over -120. We're going to go over to Jesse Schule. This is an interesting matchup, guys. It really is. San Diego made a boost the last few weeks. They are currently tied with Los Angeles in the West, and they need everyone they could get right now going into All-Star break winning. Really gives you the momentum for the second half of the season. So let's go into Jesse Schule, his take on San Diego, Chicago, please.
Well, Joe, the Padres tallied a dozen last night at Wrigley, and it definitely caught my eye to see Chicago as the favorite here. When you look at these teams' records and you see that San Diego is 22-11 on the road and Chicago is 11-22 at home, exact opposite there. Certainly doesn't indicate that the Cubs should be the favorite, but I got my eye on the total here. That seems a lot more exciting to me than the side. And the reason for that is you got Ryan Weathers going for San Diego. And he hasn't pitched in the majors since 2021, and he has been rocked. He gave up 7 runs on 10 hits in 10 1/3 innings in his last 5 appearances. San Diego has lost 14 straight when they've sent him out there, and he's coming from AAA where he was 3-4 with a 4.29 ERA. In 54 innings, he allowed 52 runs, 24 walks, and just 37 Ks. Those are not numbers that indicate he's ready to return to the major leagues. And I think they're sending him out here as like a sacrificial lamb. The weatherman says the conditions are going to favor another hitter-friendly game. And I just don't think they want to put their pitchers at risk of getting knocked around. So they're calling this guy up from the minors to take a beating, is what it looks like to me. And then the Cubs are sending out a kid that's making his second major league start after losing in St. Louis. The over is 8-3-1 in the Cubs' last 12 versus left-handed starters. And we've seen the total go over in 4 of the last 5 when the total is listed at 11 or higher at Wrigley. And I think this is just one of those games you could see a position player pitching in the 9th inning here.
Jesse Schule says they are throwing Weathers to the Wolves today. He says he likes the over, San Diego, Chicago. Jesse, let me ask you this about the Cubs. You know, there's a very big fan base over at Wrigley, whether they're good or bad, and they did expect to be a decent team this season. And right now, they're fighting Cincinnati for the worst record in the Central. Would you call them one of the more disappointing teams so far in the National League?
I wouldn't, because I actually had them penciled in to be a team that would struggle before the season started myself. And I was actually a little surprised. I think they didn't start that bad in their first 8 or 10 games. And I was surprised that they were able to, get off to a decent start. And so I'm not surprised to see them start to struggle now.
Okay, thank you, Jesse. Very good content. Guys, go over to SportsMemo after the show. Take advantage of these great customer appreciation discounts. Jesse Schule, as we spoke last week on this show, one of the best in the history of sports betting and football. Guys, saving your money is just as good as making your money. Take use of that football discount. Let's go to John Ryan. Let's see if he disagrees with Jesse as he did in the first round. John Ryan, your take, San Diego or Chicago, please.
Well, it wouldn't be ethical if I went against Jesse twice in 2 consecutive games. So I do agree with everything Jesse said. Ryan Weathers, you want to hope that he's not being thrown to the wolves and that management isn't doing this for that reason. That just doesn't sit too well with me to throw anybody to the wolves like that. That's why you have position players, like Jesse said, to pitch in the 9th. But nevertheless, he is starting, and he does struggle. He's a typical your 94-mile-an-hour fastball, has decent sinking action on it, but it's not elite. Throws slider and changeup. So very basic type of old school type of pitcher, I guess you would call him. 3-pitch, no curve. The curveball too that's what gets the Tommy John in the elbow, that twisting motion. That's a story for another show. But he won't have any injuries from pitching unless he's overworked. Launch angle is 12 degrees, small sample size. That means that his sinking fastball does generate a lot of fastballs. So I would only caution with the over. My only concern, I love the over, but my only concern is if I see him generating a lot of ground balls in the beginning of the game, that would bring concern to me betting the over, but I do like the over. What else can I tell you here? The spin rates are pedestrian. And that's not throwing him, under the bus. I mean, he's a very talented athlete. We're just not talking about somebody that is at the elite level with spin rates like Garrett Cole in the 2,600 range. But you know what? The guys like Zach Greinke at his age don't throw big spin rate anymore either, and they learn how to get guys out. So it'll be an interesting matchup, but I think Jesse at the end of the day is 100% correct here, and I like the over. I like the team over with both teams, actually, I think is a good alternative bet as well.
Okay. John Ryan, great breakdown, very technical as always. John, you set the bar and you always exceeded. Thank you. John Ryan says over and over for individual teams if you want to sprinkle a little bit of that dessert money on there. John, good breakdown. Thank you for that. Sports fans, first round, a disagreement. Second round, both guys like the over. John Ryan should sprinkle a little some on the individual teams as well. Don't go anywhere. We have another round table game coming up, and we got our best bet segment. Let's go to our third of 3 round table games. Tampa Bay at New York. Currently, New York is minus 147, under 125. Guys, the American League East, Jesse Schule, being that you're going to be up first. American League East, always one of the most competitive divisions in baseball. I don't want to get into our bet that we have between New York and Toronto. That's for another time. But sports fans, Jesse and I made a bet on the American League East, who will finish on top. Right now, I haven't checked in a while, Jesse. I think I'm still a game or two ahead. Anyway, with New York 9 games ahead and their pitching staff stepping up, in recent seasons, it was their pitching staff that hurt them a little bit, trying to go for a pennant. They always have the hitting. But right now, they're playing on another level. Only team in baseball playing over 700 ball. But this division plays each other's tough. $1.40 they are right now. Do you think that they can sustain this, Jesse, the New York Yankees?
Yeah, I mean, my only concern would be that some of their big bats are injury prone. Judge has struggled with injuries throughout his career. Stanton struggled with injuries throughout his career. They lose a couple guys like that halfway through the season, and they could start to struggle. But barring injuries, they do look pretty solid. Okay,
so let's go right into this, segue into that matchup today, American League East rivalry. Rays at New York, Jesse Schule, New York 147, under 125. Take it away, Jesse.
Well, I think the big story here is going to be the pitcher for the Yankees. Nestor Cortez was leading the major leagues in ERA prior to his last start. That was against Minnesota. And so he's trying to bounce back from his worst start of the season here. He did look not bad in the first 3 innings or first 4 innings of that game, but he did get hit pretty hard in the 5th and 6th innings, giving up 4 runs or 5 runs and 4 hits. Anyways, he is 2-0 with a 1.50 ERA and 5 home starts. I like to call him Nasty Nestor, and his other nickname that rhymes with his first name, I won't call him that. That would be unacceptable. But McClanahan goes for the Rays. He's 7-2 with a 1.87 ERA. I do like him as well. The under is 10-0 in McClanahan's last 10 starts on the road versus a winning team. I think what we could see here is a really low-scoring game for the first 5 innings. So I like the under 3.5 for the first 5 innings here.
Jesse Schule says under 3.5, first 5 innings, Tampa Bay, New York. Good breakdown, Jesse. Thank you again. Let's go to John Ryan. Let's see what happens on this third of 3 roundtable games. Let's see if John will be staying on that side or going against Jesse. Interesting to find out. John, take it away. Tampa Bay, New York, please.
You got it. I'm looking at something totally different here, so I'm not going to be with him or against him. and that's a good thing. But I kind of feel like I'm going against Joe D'Amico's favorite team here in the Yankees. I know he's a big Yankee fan. Just look at the back of his room there. He's got Yankee paraphernalia from Mickey Mantle that is just mind-blowing. But anyway, the Yankees are an excellent team. I'm not going to debate that point at all. They have won 40 or more games of the first 60 for the third time in the last 20 seasons. Unfortunately, none of those years got them to the World Series. But what I see right now, this is the type of team that does go to the World Series. However, these teams don't win every single game. And the Tampa Bay Rays are a very good team in their own right. In fact, they would be the second wild card berth right now. And they are third in the American League East division, which we all know is the toughest division in all of baseball. Toronto Blue Jays, Jesse and Joe have that big bet. I think they put up each other's houses, I think, is what's involved, truthfully. But that we'll have to see how that pans out. But Toronto's a very good team, too, and they're starting to come together. So the Yankees are running away with it now. I wouldn't be surprised to see them win by less games lead than they have now at the end of the season. But the Yankees are the team to beat. However, teams that have outscored their opponents by 100 or more runs in the month of June. So think about it. It takes a really good team to outscore an opponent this early in the season by 100 or more runs. There's some franchises that have gone 25 years and have never had one full season, where they outscored their opponent by 100 runs. The Yankees have done it in 2 months and a few weeks. The Dodgers are the other team currently right now that have done that. But in this game, you're going to fade these teams. And specifically, this is a 10-year record of 31-37. Yes, it's a losing record, but it has averaged a highly profitable 157 underdog wager, producing a 17.5% return on investment in games played in the month of June. And the two requirements are simple. You're going to bet against favorites of minus 160 to minus 190 on the money line in games played in June. And also if that favorite has outscored their opponents by at least 100 runs. That's all there is to it. I know over the course of the season, this betting system has made money in each of the last 10 seasons. So the Yankees win 10-0 tonight. We're on to the next game. But tonight, I'm on the Rays.
Sports fans, another great breakdown from John Ryan. John, great breakdown there. He's going to be taking the Rays tonight. Very interesting. So, guys, just to reiterate real quick, Jesse had the under. John has the Rays. Interesting stuff. But don't forget about that pizza bet on our first roundtable game. Milwaukee at New York. They each have opposite sides. Guys, don't go anywhere because the most exciting portion of the show is about to happen, our best bet segment. Also, my friends, we would love it. If you like what you see here, if you're looking for more premier sports betting content, be sure to hit the subscribe button and never miss out any of the action on any of the shows. You know, we do this show. John and I split the hosting hats during the week. John does some great content every day, one of the hardest working guys in sports betting. I do on the First Family Show with my wife. We got some great things in the work for football season. So help us reach our goal. We want to get to 5,000 subscribers right away, but help us reach our goal because 5,000 with SportsMemo is just not stopping there. We want 10,000. We want 25,000. We want 50,000. Help us get to our goal, my friends. Now we're going to go to the best bet segment. Interesting to see what my good buddy Jesse Schule has going on. Jesse is also going to tell you what he's got going on at SportsMemo for tonight and maybe the next few days that he's excited about. Jesse, take it away.
Well, the big game tonight is going to be the hockey game, game one of the Stanley Cup Finals. And I do have a 5-star play on that game, and I am riding hot with 5-star plays. Actually, hot doesn't actually accurately describe it. 12-1 in the last couple months is better than hot, I think. Anyways, my best bet today is going to be on the Blue Jays and Orioles, and I'm looking at the total in this game. I sure hope Ryan Weathers' mother isn't watching this show. I didn't have very nice things to say about her son, but if Bruce Zimmerman's mom is watching, please turn down the volume, Mrs. Zimmerman, because your son has been rocked. I mean, this guy is the best fade in town. He's allowed 12 runs on 20 hits in 10 1/3 innings in his last 2 starts. And if you think that's just a small sample size, well, he's 1-4 with a 6.89 ERA and 6 road starts. He's got a 9.47 ERA in his last 5 overall starts. And he hasn't faced the Blue Jays yet this year. He did face them last year. Didn't get out of the first inning. 3 runs on 5 hits with a home run and only got 2 outs before they yanked him. The over is 5-0 in the last 5 head-to-head meetings between Baltimore and Toronto. Both the first 2 games of this series have gone over. The over is 9-0 in the last 9 head-to-head meetings. With this guy going, I like over 5.5 for the first 5 innings. That's the opening line. You might be able to get it a little lower, but over in the first 5 innings is what I like.
Sports fans, Jesse Schule's best bet for today's action over Baltimore, Toronto, over first 5. Gotta love it. He's doing some great work over at SportsMemo. Be sure to go over there after the show. Subscribe, follow Jesse Schule. Trust me. You take any one of those customer appreciation discounts, they'll pay for itself in no time, and you'll come out for a longer stay. Let's go to John Ryan, who's always entertaining as he is informative. John Ryan, your best bet, and also if you could tell everybody out there what you got going on maybe tonight or next few days that you're excited about on the premium side.
Thanks, Joe. The best bet here, first of all, is basically a player prop, but the best bet is the Tampa Bay Rays. This is an underdog that is plus 120, plus 125 against the almighty Yankees, the juggernaut Yankees that are doing things they haven't done in more than in 2 decades. They're that good. So why in the world is it only plus 120? I think it's because Shane McClanahan is also on the hill, in addition to my betting angle that suggested fading teams that have outscored their opponents by 100 or more runs at this point of the season. Shane McClanahan is a very, very good pitcher that is in top form right now. Just look at the stats. The ERA is minuscule, and I do think he throws the type of pitches with heavy action that is late that has caused the Yankees lineup problems. After all, the Yankees are a power hitting team. Maybe not like the Atlanta Braves are right now, who've hit 12 home runs over the last, I believe it's 4 games, as a matter of fact. Actually, yeah, it is. It's 12 home runs over the last 4 games. But nevertheless, the Yankees are a very good team. This situation favors McClanahan. And I'm going to also give the prop bet over 6.5 strikeouts. I don't like laying the minus 140, but I think he's easily going to have 7 or more in this game. Take the Rays and that prop bet for some pizza money with Shane McClanahan.
John Ryan says take the Rays plus over 6.5 strikeouts. John, great breakdown as usual. Very good. John does some great work over SportsMemo. You don't believe me? Go check out his numbers, guys. He has so many stats, guys. His stats, it's as long as Deshaun Watson's allegation list. I was looking at his stats, so many. John, very impressive. Jesse, we got to laugh out of Jesse on that one. Sports fans, go over to SportsMemo after the show. Follow John Ryan. Trust me, you will follow him today, and you'll thank both him and me tomorrow. I promise you that. I'm going to chime in on the best bet segment, my friends. Before I do, real quick, as a multi-time college and pro football handicapping champ, I am preparing for my best college and pro football campaign ever. Take advantage of this discount when you can, because I will make you money this college and pro football season, and you're never going to get this cheap again. You see it going across the bottom of your screen. $7.99. Use code football100, and don't forget on July 4th. They're going to be taking whatever game has the most runs, adding $10 per run, and you'll get that in wager bucks. So do that right after the show. I'm going to tell you now, it'll be my best football season ever. Let me talk about my free play today. I do want to say, as far as the premium side, guys, I did not pull the trigger on anything. I actually passed in baseball today. And, I'm not here to gamble with your money. I'm not here to give you action. I'm here to give you winners. I thought that some of the card was a little tough for me. So I don't have anything on the board, but Jesse and John does. So be sure to follow them or some of the other great cappers over at SportsMemo. Let me go into today's free play. American League, where the Orioles are at Rogers Center facing the Blue Jays. I'm going to take a different take on this game. Game 3 of the series. Games 1 and 2 both went over the total. 2 teams combined for 23 runs. As a matter of fact, going back a bit to last September, these 2 division rivals have played to 8 consecutive overs. Zimmerman and Berrios are scheduled here. In Zimmerman's last 5 appearances, 4 of 5 went over the total. In Berrios' last 6, 5 of the last 6 went over. You can bet there's going to be another high-scoring game here. Over 27-1 in Baltimore's last 28. as well as 15-5 in Toronto's last 20. I like the over here, sports fans, in this game. Great minds think alike. We all had a little something on the Orioles Blue Jays game. Guys, we are going to come to you tomorrow. Again, John Ryan will be hosting Full Count. Joining him will be Jesse Schule and Eric Pauly. Tune into that, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. Let's get some closing thoughts and comments from Jesse Schule real quick before we head on out.
I'd just like to extend my apologies to Mrs. Zimmerman for all the things I had to say about her son.
Poor old Mrs. Zimmerman. I think she could take it. He hasn't pitched too well. As a matter of fact, I think that she doesn't even wear his jersey when he plays. Don't worry about that. John Ryan, closing thoughts or comments?
Well, I don't know. I still feel bad going head-to-head with Jesse, but he hasn't accepted my bet. And by the way, Jesse, I don't accept payment of pizzas unless it has double pepperoni on it.
There you
So
go.
just remember that when you're sending me the 10.
There you go, sports fans.
That's about as arrogant as I can be.
You're gonna love John Ryan, guys. Always as informative as he is entertaining. It's gonna be fun seeing who wins this bet. Jesse and I have a bet to the end of the season on the Yankees and Blue Jays. And I think I'm looking pretty good right now. My friends, it's about that time to take off. Be sure to tune into Full Count, MLB sports betting show every weekday, Monday through Friday. John Ryan's hosting. Tomorrow, I'll be back on Friday. Joining John tomorrow, Jesse Schule and Eric Foley. And once again, guys, thank you for tuning into the show. We appreciate everybody in the chat to make a comment. Like it, subscribe it, comment. We would love that. My friends, that's it for the Wednesday show. And you see the head on over to SportsMemo.com. Take advantage of today's spin to win special. My friends, I'll be here for Sports Memo, Jesse Schule and Joe D'Amico. Good luck and have a winning day.